Welcome back to another video. In this one, I'll be showcasing an extension I've been working on for Adonis v5 called Admin. This package adds an admin panel to your existing Adonis application that enables you to manage records in your database. And once it's finished installing, we'll run the configure command. What this will do is generate a configuration file and a few other files in our app directory that are needed to set up the panel. So firstly, before we finish any sort of setting up, we'll paste this one-liner from the docs into our Tailwind config. And what this will do is just build the actual view files or the edge files with Tailwind CSS. So we'll save that here. Now we'll hop over to our config file that the admin package has generated to finish up setting up. As this is a paid package, you'll need to purchase a license first, so I will post that in a second. And we'll also enter in the URL of our site, so for now I'll just put in localhost 3333. The prefix is the URL that we'll access the admin panel from. And if you'll have seen in my console down here, it says please provide a middleware for authentication. This is so that you don't accidentally set up the admin panel and anyone can access it. So in this case, I'll just put in our regular auth middleware that comes with Adonis auth. So I just entered my license key and we can see the application has now started up. So I've switched to the admin panel now and it's pretty basic. There's nothing in here. We just have a button for the dashboard and nothing in it. So let's generate our first resource so that we can start seeing our records in the database. So I have a users model in this application already that I want to see in the dashboard. So in order to do that, I'll run node ace make resource user. And this will post or create a new file in our admin user here. And let's quickly go through what this file actually has in it. So firstly, we have the name of the model, and we actually link the model to this resource class. We have the search, which is the column that the search function will search by. So in this case, if I go back to users model, let's say I want to search by name, for example, so I'll put name in there. And then we have this columns array. Now what this columns array does is help us build the table that we'll see in the admin panel, and it also allows us to build the create and edit forms when we are editing these resources. So if I just copy this a few times, and we'll call this one name, as we just saw, and this one email, we'll give them a capitalized label. And for both of these, we want to set these to string, as they are string types. We don't want these to be read-only, we want to be able to see these, and we want them to be visible in the index. So if I just quickly save this and head over to our dashboard and refresh, we now see that we have users to the side here. Now if I click on this, we'll see that all our users have now loaded up, and we have a paginated view of all the 50 or so users in our database. As we just set our search field to name, if I search in here for Max, we'll see that my name pops up, and if I just press enter again, it will reset the table. Additionally, if I click onto add new, we can see our name and email fields have now popped up, just like in the columns array. And if I head back to users, I can edit them and I can change them. So I'll save this, and we'll see that the flash message pops up to say that the record has been updated. Creating and editing a resource isn't the only thing that this admin panel can do. We can also add custom actions to our resource to run things like sending a password reset email to an individual user. So to add these, if I go to our actions object here and add a custom array, and in here a new object, we'll call this send password, cannot type, send password, reset email. We'll give it a quick slug, which GitHub Copilot will generate, and a handler, which we'll call reset email.bind this. Now, I'll just include this function in this actual resource file, but you could import these functions from anywhere in your application. And the thing that gets passed in is the model itself. So in this case, the user model. And I just want to log console.log send in password reset email to user email. So if I head back over to the admin panel and refresh the page, if I click into a user, let's say myself for example, I can now see that this actions drop down has popped up, and I can click send password reset email. You'll see that there's a little refresh there to say that we sent a request. And if I head back to my application, we'll see that it has been logged to the terminal. Another neat thing that we can do with actions is actually add validators to our create and edit objects here. So if I do node is make validator update user, and in here I'll just quickly write some rules down. So we want a name, which is going to be a schema.string, and it has to be required, and an email, which again will be a string, but in here I'll put rules email, and I'll just import rules from the top. And we'll save that, and then in here I'll put update user validator, and I'll use the same one for the edit action as well. So to test these validators, I've headed to a random user in the database, and I'll just quickly remove the @ symbol here and click save, and we'll see that an error came up. But if I click back through again and we've got the @ symbol in there, I click save, we'll see that it went through perfectly. Final thing to show with this package is the dashboard. Now currently I don't have anything set up here, so let's hop back into our code and change that. So back in the code, I have headed to admin, dashboards, and then index.ts. We'll see we've got name, dashboard, and then cards. Now what cards do is run a function every time that they're summoned or requested that can return numbers to show, say for example, the total amount of users in your application, or new users that have signed up in the past week, for example. So in here, I'm going to add a new object and call it name, total users, description, total number of users, icon for now we'll just say is users, and we'll say handler async, and then in this function I'll just say return await user dot all. I think it's imported the user, yeah, so if I just do, let's get rid of this import. If I import it from model instead, I can do all, and then I'll return the length, like so. If we head back to our admin dashboard and refresh, we now see that we have a metric that shows up in our dashboard. So that is everything to do with version 1 of the admin dashboard. I'm busy in the background working on version 2 already with a bunch more features. But if you enjoyed the video, be sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.